Did you know that Medium blogging, that starting a blog on the website medium.com can help you make a full-time living with your words? You're curious, you've heard about this website called Medium. It's funny, I've been writing on Medium for almost a half decade now, and it's still kind of this open secret in the blogging world. I'm shocked, frankly, that there aren't a ton of people just racing to get on Medium, because to me, it's the most straightforward opportunity to make a living with your writing. You get paid directly from engagement with members of the website. I personally use medium.com to build a six-figure income, and I know other writers who have done the same. I know writers who have made anywhere from an extra $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month and beyond. There is real success on the platform, but there's also a lot of failure. Did you know that only half the people who publish articles on Medium make any money at all? Only roughly 8% of people who publish on Medium make more than $100 a month. So you kind of have these parallel realities within Medium. On the one hand, you have people who are killing it, just making, hand over fist on the platform, and then, the vast majority of writers on the platform are broke. So how do you get on the right side of the equation? How do you learn how to blog properly on Medium? Well, that's what I'm going to show you today. In this video, I'm going to walk through 3 simple steps that you can use to start getting your Medium blog off the ground, or start getting traction to put you on the path to not only becoming that 8% of writers who makes $100 a month or more, but going beyond that. Okay, I'm not the person who's going to make overhyped promises, but I know how to teach strategies that can help you get long-term success. These are strategies that I use to build my own writing career, to get millions of readers per year on Medium. These are strategies that I've seen work with dozens of other writers who have gotten similar results, some even better than me. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through these steps, and by the end, you should have enough to get started on Medium and start having success in growing your audience as soon as possible. Step 1, you really need to understand what Medium readers want. Medium is kind of its own unique ecosystem in and of itself. Medium has different tags and interests that readers choose to help get the content that they want to read in front of their feed. So you need to know which tags your readers are following, people in your ideal audience, and you need to use those same tags in your own content. You need to study the conversation that's happening in Medium and see what people respond well to. For example, there are a lot of different topics that do really well on Medium. Topics like self-improvement, but not necessarily the over-the-top form of self-improvement. Kind of the nuanced, balanced, almost research-based form of self-improvement does really well on the platform. Stories about love, relationship, sex, those do amazingly well on the platform. Long-form articles about technology, articles about culture, articles about psychology. There are different Medium publications that cover all of these different topics, and you really want to become a student of what audiences respond to. And this is something I talked about in another video that I'll link to here about blogging tips. And the idea is you want to find that happy medium between what you want to write and what other people want to read. The number one problem, the problem that I will probably include in every single video that I give about blogging advice, is that most writers treat their blog like a personal journal. They write random ramblings about their life, their random musings, and they expect audiences to respond to it. And that's not the way that Medium works, and that's not the way that blogging online works either. So you can choose different styles. You can have different voices. There's all different ways to succeed on Medium, and there is a wide, diverse array of writers that talk about all different sorts of subjects, and really people from all different sorts of backgrounds too. But the one thing they have in common, they write about topics people want to read. So in my premium flagship course, which you can find a link to below, I go through an entire framework of really getting inside and doing the research that it takes to figure out what's on your reader's mind. And that's always the question you want to ask yourself. Quick little tips. Go and check the comments on popular Medium articles. Look at the words, phrases people are actually using. People are trying to give you hints to what they want. They are talking about their problems in these comments. They are talking about not only the things they like, but the areas of improvement they could see on certain articles in certain niches when they post these comments. You can look at which articles are popular. You can look at which articles are not so popular. You can look at which areas not only the readers, but Medium itself is kind of pushing and promoting. Really become a student of the audience and understand that Medium is gearing the way that it promotes its content to best suit audiences as best as they can. And oftentimes they experiment with different techniques and they don't necessarily get it right, but you always want to pay attention to what's going on. You don't want to get caught in the trap of overly planning. I have a lot of colleagues and even students who they overly, obsess about statistics. They want to know the exact ratio of how many reads they get versus views. They get way, way too deep in the analytics. Don't do that. My entire philosophy is keeping things very simple. It doesn't take much to spend 10, 20, 30 minutes a day studying comments, looking at what articles are doing well, trying to get inside of the head of your readers. It's very simple. But are you going to be the type of person that follows through and actually executes on that idea? It's very simple. Just research your audience. Becoming popular on Medium is, for the most part, simple. Write consistently and begin to tailor your messages to the audiences that you research. Do this gradually over time without any hyperbolic promises, and you can be successful on the platform. Understand the process of curation. I waited a little bit until a later video in the series of videos that I'm doing about Medium to talk about curation, because curation is kind of this hotly contested topic in kind of the Medium sphere. Everyone's always focused on exactly how to get curated. And by curated, what that means is when you submit an article to Medium, it goes through kind of this pipeline where these curators, these editors who are employees of Medium, take a look at your article and decide whether or not they want to curate it. So what does curate mean? Curate simply means that they think your audience is, or they think your article, is a good fit for a certain audience and a certain topic. So if you're writing an article about relationships, your curator might curate your article under the tag relationships. The curators can curate your articles in multiple topics. I've seen people get articles curated in upwards of 5 different topics. It just ranges depending on which kind of overlaps of niches and topics your articles cover. So the benefit of curation is that you receive a little bit extra promotion. They put your articles in front of readers on the feed. So if you're curated in relationships, you have higher odds of showing up on the feed with people who have selected relationships as an interest of theirs. So curation puts you in front of the eyeballs, and it gives you a little bit of a leg up when it comes to promotion. Medium will do some things for you promotion-wise if you get curated. They'll send out your articles in an email blast to a bunch of people who follow that topic. You might get featured on the homepage of people's feeds on Medium. You'll get that extra juice that can help you get more views. Now, here's the thing to understand about curation. It is not the end-all, be-all of whether or not you'll be successful. A lot of people overly focus on curation, so much so that they've come up with this term, curation jail. And this concept of curation jail is this idea that if a couple of your articles in a row don't get curated, say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 articles in a row don't get curated, all of a sudden you're in curation jail. And it's kind of this idea that you're just locked away and hidden from the curators, and that if you're in curation jail, they're just going to ignore everything you write and never curate you again. And this is simply not true. The people who often end up in curation jail are those people who take that approach that they feel they can write whatever they want. They feel that they can have their blog be a personal journal. They feel that they can take no interest in what audiences want, no interest in what the media market wants, and then feel like they should get curated. And then because they don't follow those guidelines, because they don't adhere their messages at all to not only what Medium wants, but to what the audiences want, and then they end up in curation jail and they wonder what happens. Medium kind of goes out of its way almost to tell you what will get you curated. Things like I've talked about in other videos, properly structuring your articles, making sure they look good aesthetically, choosing interesting titles. You don't have to have a clickbaity headline. Just have one that's somewhat good. Don't write a headline that's like, on my trip to West Virginia. Like, who cares about your trip? No one cares about your trip to West Virginia, right? You have to figure out how to get the basics right, and you'll start getting curated more often. And you can reach out to the curators and perhaps see if they could provide feedback on your articles. You can kind of read the guidelines and tweak, but really, I've noticed that most people who dive way too deeply into like obsessing over curation, it doesn't really move the needle. For me, my entire process of building my career on Medium, I've never once calculated my curation rate. I haven't even once followed up with a curator and asked them why my articles didn't get curated. So I do try to pay attention to metrics on Medium. I do try to pay attention to the general frameworks of what leads to curation, but I'm not obsessed with it. All right, quick interlude here. Quick question for you. How familiar are you with the website medium.com? Do you have a Medium blog set up already? Let me know in the comments. In fact, if you do have a Medium profile set up, leave me a link to your profile. I'll follow you, I'll clap up your article, and get you a little bit of views from yours truly. Lastly, you want to learn to level up to better publications over time. So publications are kind of these little online magazines within Medium that have their own built-in followings. So what you want to do is, if you are a newbie, if you are a beginner writer, focus on publications with lower submission standards, and then level up to higher quality publications who have more stringent standards, but also have a higher quality following and kind of higher quality publication owners that will go the extra mile to promote your work. So the process is very simple. There are a variety of ways you can find publications. The website smedian.com, which I'll link to below, contains like a digital inventory of every single publication on Medium. So you can look up what Medium publications kind of fit your niche. You can kind of go after some of the smaller mid-tier publications first. Medium, or Smedian, even ranks these in terms of following, so you can get a real accurate picture of kind of the minor leagues and the big leagues when it comes to publications. And what you want to do, kind of like a baseball player in professional baseball, start in the minor leagues, practice in the minor leagues, understand that if you're totally new to writing, you're going to need to ramp up the quality of your writing, not just to get into better publications, but to be successful on Medium in general. A lot of people come on a Medium and they're a part of that group who never makes more than $100 a month because their writing is just not very good yet. It's really hard to be an amazing writer if you have no experience, a couple months of experience. I've spent 5 years learning how to get good at this. So all these are long-term strategies, and that leveling up publication strategy is really going to pay dividends in the long term. Once you get to the point where you are able to reach those higher level publications, you'll reach a wider audience, you'll get more views on your articles. Even some of these publications have guaranteed curation, meaning that every single article published via that publication gets curated. But again, if you want to reach that sort of holy grail level of publication that's going to give you access to that instant curation and a high number of fans, you need to do the work to be successful. Go through these different publications, read their submission guidelines, do exactly what they say, publish the best quality work that you can to these publications, and level up over time. Okay, these are 3 solid takeaways that you could use to get started on Medium today. I encourage you, if you haven't already, sign up for your Medium blog and start publishing. Also, here's what I want you to do next. Check out some of the links below. Below you will see a link to my premium flagship Medium course that walks you through everything I know about making a living writing using the website medium.com. Also, if you need a little bit more time, you can look below and see a free email course. Just click the link, put your email in the form, and you'll get a free 5-day email course where I'm going to walk you through step by step a version of that course and show you some additional steps that you can take to start being successful on Medium ASAP. All right, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you can get brand new videos when they come out. Check out some of the other videos that I have on the channel, and I will see you on the next video.